All right, if you take a look at the exercise page that is entitled Profit Maximization and Price Takers, I'm going to go through the first of these. On the sheet, there are three. You work them all the same way. So if you know how to, and actually the numbers, solutions to the other two were given to you. So I'm going to talk through the first one so you'll know how, make sure you know how to go through the process. Because this, what we're trying to do here is make sure we understand for a price taker firm, how does the firm go about figuring out the quantity that will give it maximum profit? The information on your sheet I have put here on the board. Key thing that you want to remember is what we're looking for is the profit maximizing quantity. And the key idea is the firm wants to produce every unit that has a marginal revenue greater than or equal to its marginal cost. Just think about it intuitively. They want to produce every unit that adds more to revenue than it adds to cost. And if the firm does this, they're going to end up producing where MR equals MC. Okay? Sometimes there's not a unit where those two are exactly equal. Okay? If not, then you fall back to this. Produce every unit where marginal revenue is greater than or equal to marginal cost. Don't produce any unit that has a marginal cost greater than the marginal revenue. So think about the data that you're given here. Okay? You've got marginal cost already calculated, average total cost, average variable cost. You don't have marginal revenue. That's what you're going to need. So you got to figure out what is marginal revenue. You're also told up at the top, this is a price taker firm, and you're told the market price of its product is $19. That's key. Since this is a price taker firm, in your mind, remind yourself of what will the demand for this product look like, and what will the marginal revenue curve be? And you should say, okay, it's a price taker firm, that means it can sell as much as it wants to sell, as long as it charges the market price. The market price is $19. So, as long as the firm charges that market price, the demand for its product will be horizontal at that price, meaning it can sell a small amount, intermediate, a large amount, doesn't matter. As much as it wants to sell, as long as it charges the market price. And that demand curve is also the firm's marginal revenue curve, because, well, let's go over to this. Okay? Remember how is total revenue calculated? This is one of the relationships you want to remember or put on your card. Firm's total revenue is the quantity it produces times the price that it charges. We're only considering firms that are, they set a price and they sell all that they want to, all that they can sell at that price. We're not considering price discrimination where the firm can charge different prices for different units. So total revenue is quantity times price. So if the firm doesn't sell any units, obviously its total revenue will be zero. If it sells one unit, then it's going to sell it at a price of 19. So its revenue will be 19. If it sells two, it's going to be 38. Three, it's going to be 57. And so on. Simply multiplying the price, constant price, times the number of units produced. So I won't finish that off. Marginal revenue. Okay. When you sell, remember how marginal revenue is defined. MR is the change in total revenue over the change in quantity. And always ask, well, what does that mean? It means it's the extra revenue the firm gets if it sells an extra unit. And what do we see here? When the firm sells the first unit, revenue is up by 19. When it sells the second unit, revenue goes from 19 to 38, which is 19. Sells the third unit, goes from 38 to 57. So the marginal revenue again is 19. We said that for price taker firms, its marginal revenue will always be equal to its price, because every time it sells an extra unit, its revenue will go up by price. So MR for the first is 19, for the second it's 19. For every unit, marginal revenue is 19. So now we have all the information that we need. The firm says, if I produce the first unit, how does that affect my revenue? How does it affect my cost? And here we see, produces and sells the first unit, his cost goes up by 10, his revenue goes up by 19. Obviously, that unit is worth producing if he's going to produce anything at all. Okay? And right now, we're just trying to figure out what's the best quantity to produce if he's going to produce something. If he produces the second unit, revenue goes up by 19, cost goes up by 12. Does it make sense to produce and sell that unit? Sure. It's going to add $7 to the firm's profit. Third unit, it's going to add 19 to its revenue, 14 to its cost. Wants to do that. Fifth unit, that was the third. Fourth, it's going to add 19 to its revenue, 16 to its cost. Notice these extra units are becoming more and more costly, but as long as the marginal cost is below the marginal revenue, it's worth producing. So yes, it's going to produce that fourth unit. Get to the fifth unit, it's going to add 19 to revenue, 18 to cost. They're pretty close, but 19 is greater than 18. So yes, it's going to produce that fifth unit. It's going to add $1 to the firm's profit. Sixth unit, he produces it, sells it, it's going to add 19 to his revenue, it's going to add 20 to his cost. Do you want to incur a $20 cost in order to bring in $19 of extra revenue? Clearly not. So the firm is not going to produce that sixth unit. The firm is going to choose to produce 5 units. So that was the first thing you needed to find. Second, want to know, is the firm making any profit? And I'll erase this part. Here you want to remember the profit relationship. We said profit is defined as the difference between total revenue and total cost, but there's another relationship that's worth knowing. Profit can be expressed as the number of units being produced times the price minus ATC. Price is the number of dollars you're getting, of revenue you're getting per unit. ATC is your cost per unit. So the difference there is the profit you're getting per unit. Multiply that by the number of units, gives you the total profit. Here, it's going to produce 5. He's going to charge $19. How do you find the average total cost? Okay. Well, we're interested in average total cost for the quantity he's going to produce, which is 5. So we read over, we see his average total cost is, for that quantity, is 26. His cost, average cost, is greater than his revenue. So he's going to be, if he produces, he's going to lose $7 per unit. He's producing 5 units. So if he produces, he's going to lose $35. Profit is negative. Think about, what does that mean? It means that the revenues are not sufficient to cover all of the firm's cost. It means that the owner of the firm can do better if he deploys his resources elsewhere. Okay? Now, will the firm produce at 5, or will it choose to go out of business or shut down temporarily? I'm not going to go into that here because there's another page of problems where I go into that extensively. Here, I just want you to be able to figure out that if the firm is going to produce anything, it will produce 5, and it will lose $35. Okay. The other two problems work exactly the same way.